Hello and welcome to another episode of Double J's List. If you get a chance, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. I would appreciate it. It would help me get you more information. With that being said, I'm going to give a little update on the 2023 Ford F-150 Lightning Pro order that I have in. And the biggest part of the update is there isn't much of an update. So I put that order in a few months ago, I feel like it's been now. And all it says on the website when I log in is that the order has been accepted by the dealership. There's no mention of any future production date. Therefore, there is no mention of any delivery date or anything like that. So who knows when I'll be getting this truck? Will they start building it next week? Will they start building it 6-10 months from now? Who knows? With that being said, it's giving me a lot of time to think about this. So one of the salespeople at the dealership that I'm dealing with for this truck told me that when push comes to shove, if I decide that I don't want it, it's not going to be a problem for them. They will be more than happy to refund my money and then sell it to somebody else because there's such high demand for these trucks, and they're anticipating future demand for these trucks too, because it's still going to be hard to get one, I think, even if it's 9 months from now. I don't know if the markups are going to be crazy on them anymore, or people selling them used for $20,000 over. That already appears to be ending. If you look at sales recently, the prices for Lightning have been going down, probably combined with the bad press from the stories about them not towing as much as as far as they should be able to, in conjunction with just the overall demand. They've been out now for a while, and a lot of people who've wanted them bought them. So we'll see what happens by the time I actually have the chance to get mine. So then I have to make a decision. Do I buy it, make a few videos, and then try to sell it? Or just keep it if I like it, or just not get it at all? If it winds up looking like it's going to be too much of a risk that I would lose money on it like immediately, which is kind of interesting because, you know, in the past you just automatically lost money on a new vehicle. That's not the case anymore, and I would really love to do some videos with it and try to figure out what life is like with the new F-150 Lightning and provide that information for you. But if this is 9 months from now, those videos I think are already going to be out there from a lot of folks. So it might not even be that great a content for everybody. So moving on, that makes me think about my reservation that I have for my Silverado EV. Thinking about that is interesting because I think that General Motors battery chemistry is a little bit ahead of Ford's, just because this is a newer vehicle. It's a slightly newer platform that there's not as much stuff has come out on. Like there's like the Hummer truck is out on it right now, and if you saw that video I did recently about the Cadillac Lyric, that's on a similar platform, just shorter and not made to be a truck. So that makes me think that perhaps this Chevy is going to be a more modern option. I know General Motors is working really hard to get their battery chemistry to use fewer precious materials. They're hard to obtain, which is good because I think that's the direction things need to be moving in to make EVs more feasible. And we don't know what the range numbers are. They were promising us a Silverado EV WT trim level, which stands for work truck, for under $40,000, just like they were for the Lightning. Unfortunately, the Lightning has gone up in price. By the time I was able to actually reserve and then build mine to order it, the price had gone up $6,500. Since then, it's jumped up again. So now a base Ford F-150 Pro is over $50,000, where when it debuted it was $39 and change. Bear in mind, $2,000 of that almost is destination and shipping. So that is what it is. So will General Motors be able to fulfill these orders at $39,000? I've already seen some articles recently for like a second and third layer of WT trim levels. They're talking like $60,000 and $70,000. So are they really going to be able to sell one for under $40,000? That's absolutely stripped out. At this point, I don't know. And it would make that massively competitive versus the Ford because it'll be a more modern truck that's less money. But at the same time, I don't know if they're really going to be able to pull that off. So that got me thinking a little bit more. Now, I don't think I need a full-size truck. That little truck that you see behind me there is my 1999 Nissan Frontier. Now that would be the perfect size truck if it were a crew cab instead of an extended cab. Unfortunately, it's a crew cab. I can't put car seats in the back and bring my kids along different places, so it's not ideal. It's also 22 years old, almost 23 years old now, and it has almost 200,000 miles on it. So it's not exactly modern and safe as far as a family vehicle goes. I would rather not put my family in that. That being said, that truck does just about everything else that I want a truck to do. Unfortunately, I think that either the Silverado or the Lightning are going to take up a ton of room in my driveway. It's going to be hard to get around the vehicle, and with the other cars, full-size trucks are a pain to park in parking lots. I can't get it inside my garage. I think that's not just for me either. I know a lot of folks with full-size trucks that are like, yeah, you just can't get this thing inside my garage. It's huge. Also, another negative about the truck, both the Silverado EV and the Lightning they're more than likely going to be extraordinarily powerful. I think they're both over 400 horsepower in certain guises, or in the slowest versions. And I really don't need that. It's fun. I'm not going to say it's not really neat, but honestly, the 200 horsepower that my little Bolt here has and 266 pound-feet, all I need. It's certainly quick enough to get her everywhere I need to go, quicker than traffic more often than not. I know there's talks of like a Ranger EV coming out. Not sure when that's happening, other than just rumors that I've heard. But that brings to mind another vehicle that I've really given a lot of thought to recently. So it's been almost a year now, we rented a Toyota Sienna minivan, and I did a video review of it. You can check it out here. That we really liked it. It did everything extraordinarily well, including got really good fuel economy, because it's a hybrid, which is amazing for a vehicle of its size. And we thought, boy, it would be really nice to have a minivan, but there's a certain stigma, and I don't know if it would bother me too much, but there's something just generally uncool about like the Toyota Sienna, Honda Odyssey, Chrysler Pacifica. It's still kind of a boring minivan. It's not particularly exciting really in any aspect other than the fact that it's extraordinarily practical. Volkswagen has debuted something they're calling the ID.Buzz. It looks kind of like a modern interpretation of the old Volkswagen microbus that started in 1960 here in the United States, otherwise known as the Type 2 within Volkswagen enthusiast groups. So it's like the old cool, hippie van, I guess you'd call it, but it's a new modern version of it. It is all electric. The one that they're getting in Europe is going to be a shorter wheelbase. I think it'll be an option to get a longer one. Here in the United States, we're only getting the long wheelbase, which means we're going to have 2 rows of seats behind the driver, so it'll be a 3-row, just like a traditional minivan that we're used to here. And it's going to be built down in Tennessee, in Volkswagen's big plant there. So this is really compelling because if you think about it, with the seats down, I've got really comparable cargo room to that little Nissan pickup behind me. With the seats in it, I can carry my kids around. I can put 1 row behind me and leave the other row out and still have a really practical vehicle that can haul things around. It's electric. It's going to be on their ID platform. It should be, from what I understand, an 800-volt system, so it should be a more modern one than, like, say, the Bolt here behind me. So that's really particularly intriguing. We're going to have to see what it's going to cost when it comes out. There's a lot of what-ifs with that scenario. You can't even reserve one yet. And from what I saw in one of the social media posts from VW, is they're not going to have a reservation system. It's just going to be go to your dealership and see what you can get, I guess. I don't know. So that might be a little chaotic. Anyway, one other option is my Bolt back here. I was fortunate enough to buy that Bolt when it was the previous Bolt that this one had replaced under General Motors program to replace the cars that had the recalled battery. So I have a really inexpensive monthly payment for the lease that's coming up in March of next year. So we got a little more than a year left. And the buyout is extremely low because when I leased this, gas was cheap and the small subcompact bolt wasn't very popular. When they moved up to the EUV by adding 6 inches to the wheelbase and some fender flares and calling it a utility vehicle, all of a sudden a lot more people have become more interested in bolts. It was a really good move on General Motors' part for sure. But so this is probably going to be worth a whole lot more than the, I think it's about $21,000 buyout that I have on it. And maybe that's the smartest move I can make. Just keep my little truck there. It is starting to get kind of rusty and old, but it still does what I need it to do on the days I need it to do it. And it runs amazing, actually. And have my little bolt around because it still does everything I need a commuter car to do. It may not be the newest battery technology. It's only a 400 volt system. It's a little slower to charge on DC fast charging situations, but I almost never use DC fast charging. I charge it at home. If it takes 3 or 4 hours to charge up from half battery or whatever, that's not a big deal. It happens while I'm sleeping here anyway. So it doesn't really affect me. I don't need the newest battery tech. That has the Premier. It's a Premier, so it's got just about every option except for Super Cruise, heated air-conditioned seats, heated steering wheel, panoramic sunroof, Bose sound system, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. It's fantastic. Every option I'd ever want and more. 360 camera, that's like one of the things I really love and don't think I could live without. So anyway, I'm not sure what's happening with the future of my EV stuff. So leave a comment below. Tell me what you think I should do. Honestly, I think I'm just going to have to wait things out and see how it all pans out anyway. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. Oh, and hit the subscribe button.